Morning children. Today we are going to start the new lesson, Early History of Deccan and South India. This is the last chapter of first term. So this is the last chapter of history syllabus of first term. So children, we are going to study the introduction part of this chapter, Megalithic culture. Now what do you mean by megaliths? Let me clear you this. Megaliths mean large piece of stones. This is very important for you. And it was started in Deccan and southern part of India. Means this is your Indian portion, this is your Deccan part, and this is your southern part. This is Deccan part of India, and this is northeast part and also Kashmir. So 4 parts of India were there where this megalithic culture spread. Now what do you mean by this megaliths? That this region was the home of the people who buried their deads. You can see here the picture. In page number 118 you will see that the dead bodies were buried and it was erected. Erected means it was been lifted little bit, utha dena, with big pieces of stones around the graves where this dead body was buried. So this large piece of stones were called megaliths, and that's why the people who used to do all this, they were called megalith builders. So this is very important for you. What is megaliths? Large number of used stone pieces have been found in granite areas. Very often an entire site was marked by placing huge round stones in a circle. You can see here the picture. Here it was circular, and these stone circles were the first indication of the megalith culture in South India. You will get a question that which was the first indication of megalith culture in South India? Stone circles. Now how the people were there? How we will come to know that what type of people were there? We will come to know from the skeletons. The megalith people, the remains of the skeletons shows that megalith people were having very broad bones, thick skulls and protruding teeth. So the people were having protruding teeth, means the teeth were being outside. Most of the teeth were outside. That is called protruding. Bahar ki aur nikalna. The discovery of the remains of pottery and iron objects and burial sites where the dead bodies were been buried indicate that people believed in life after death. As you read in Indus Valley civilization that people believed in life after death, here also along with the buried, the things have been found which shows that the people used to believe in life after death. Some sites have also been discovered at many places in Deccan and South India along with Khalpa, Naikund, Mahajari in Maharashtra and Brahmagiri, Hardahalli, Takal Ghat and Maski in South India. These are the name of the places found the megalith culture in Maharashtra, and these are the name of the places found in southern part of India where megalith culture was found. Earlier the archaeologists believed that megalith people were nomads, hunters. We cannot come to the one stable conclusion. Some different archaeologists believe different things. So some archaeologists believe that megalith people were nomadic hunters and gatherers. Means they used to go from one place to another. But the discovery of axe, hammer, plough, sail and sickle revealed that they were agricultural. So how we will come to know that they were agriculturists? The discovery of iron axe hammer proved that they were agriculturists. Though agriculture was not much advanced, they probably grew ragi and paddy in small fields on hill areas. So where they used to grow? They used to grow in hill areas. This one, because Deccan part of India is a plateau region, so mostly you will find rough surface there, so they used to grow in small fields in hill slopes, as the plains were covered with dense forest. The Meghalith people also used weapon. Now if the children, if it is asking you the tools they use for agriculture, then you will write hammer, axe, block, sail. But if it is asking you weapons, hatyar, then you will write dagger, spear, knife and sword. Trident, trishul, was also been discovered. Just see to it, do you know the differentiation in the mortuary practices indicate that Meghalith population of South India was organized in a rank society. Now what do you mean by mortuary practices? Mortuary practices means when the people were being buried, dead bodies were being buried, that is mortuary practices. So it has also been believed that the people were organized in rank society, means upper class people, middle class people, lower class people, because different places were there for different people. So that proves that the people of South India and Deccan part of India were living in a rank society. Discovery of iron tools of many sites have been proved that the Meghalith people were the first iron users of South India. They used iron to make their tools, weapons and utensils. You can see here the picture. This is the picture of tools, iron tools you can see. This is the trident. This is the trident. Okay. This is not the trident. This is the trident, trishul. The remains of the pottery of Meghalith people indicate that pots were well baked and well finished. When fired, they were clearly made on potter's wheel. The remains of the pottery that has been found, what type of color was pottery? Black and red color. What was the color? Black and red color. These are the features of pottery. You have to know what type of pottery was used by the people of Meghalith India, people of Deccan and South India. The pottery pieces had fine inscriptions which were the trademarks, means on that pottery some inscriptions were there which was the trademark, like ISI mark, BSI mark are there, na BIS mark. These are the trademarks. So that time whatever the inscriptions were been there found on the pottery, that was the trademarks. Some archaeologists, this was the belief of some archaeologists. Now we come to the next belief of the archaeologists. Some archaeologists believe that they were invaders who came from West Asia. That means some archaeologists believe that they were not Indians. They had came as invaders. Invaders means they ghuspat karna. They came from other country, that is from West Asia. And some believe from the culture believe that they were from Ireland. So different archaeologists have. Just now I told you that we cannot come to the correct opinion. We can only assume it, believe it, because history is on belief. The Meghalith culture gave rise to Satavahana culture. The archaeologist evidences that Meghalith people came from Ireland to India by sea route, because that time only one route was there, that was sea route, and this whole route is marked by similar megaliths. That means when they came by sea route, the sea route shows some similar Evidences of megaliths. It is quite probable that ancestors of Marathas, Kannada, Telugu and Tamil are the megalith people. So people here, some archaeologists believe that the people of Maharashtra, Tamils, they are all megaliths and they gave rise to Satavahana culture. So now we come to early history. So megalith culture gave rise to Satavahana culture, and now we are going to read about this Satavahanas who emerged as a powerful kingdom in the Deccan. They were the powerful kingdom in the Deccan. So which part of India is Deccan part of India? If you can see here, let me show you in page number 120 you have the map. This is Deccan part of India. Which part of it? This is Deccan part of India and this is southern part of India, right? So Satavahana culture was a very powerful, and they were very influenced by the political system of the Mauryans, and that's why the administration was quite similar to like the Mauryas. Who was the founder here? King Simukha was the founder of the Satavahana kingdom. Please underline, children, this is very important. Who was the founder of the Satavahana kingdom? You can get the question. Who was the founder? Founder means जिसने नींव रखी. Gautami Putra Satakarni was the greatest Satavahana ruler. Underline this also. He conquered large territories and extended the Satavahana kingdom. His son Vasishta Putra Pulamavi set up his capital at Pratisthana, which is now in Maharashtra. Now it is called Paithan. Yajana Shri Satakarni was the last great ruler of Satavahana dynasty. Satavahana rulers believed in the divine powers of the king. Means the king should be very powerful. That was the belief of the Satavahana rulers. They divided the territory into provinces for efficient administration. They were the followers of Hinduism and worshipped Vishnu and Shiva. Here only, mainly Hinduism had mainly two gods here, Vishnu and Shiva. And those who were the believers of this Vishnu and Shiva, they were called Alvas and Nayanas, which you will read in the coming chapter. So those who were the believers of this Vishnu and Shiva, they were called Alvas and Nayanas, right? Many Buddhist Chaityas means temples. Chaityas kisko kehte hain? Temples. And viharas are called monasteries, which was built for the monks to live in. Were also built during this period. The rock cut Chaitya Hall at Karlane, Pune. This is still there. If you visit, if you get time, visit this place. It is a very beautiful rock cut hall cave type in Pune, and this is the finest example of cave architecture, and it has also beautiful stupas, because Buddhism is very famous for stupas. The stupa at Amravati has carved panels depicted scenes from the life of Buddha. Just now I told you that stupas are very famous related to religion. Which religion? Buddhism. And it shows about the caves of stupa of Amravati has panels, scenes depicting about the life of Buddha in the walls. The Satavahana rulers built roads and ships to encourage internal and external trade. They had trade relations with Rome, Arabia, Iran, Egypt, Burma and Malaya. That means they were having trade relations with foreign countries also. And they traded wine, copper, tin, precious stones. The greatest Satavahana dynasty came to an end, and the empire came into the hands of Rashtrakutas. After the Satavahana rule came to an end, it was divided into three parts. Let me show you that where it is. This is the Maharashtra part. This is the Maharashtra part. which was ruled by Rashtrakutas. After the Satavahana ruler came to be an end. Pallavas in Kanchi. These are Pallavas. And the next is Ishvakush in Andhra region. That means these were the Ishvakush region. These means it was divided after the downfall of Satavahanas. This was divided into small kingdoms. Maharashtra was occupied by Rashtrakutas, Andhra region was occupied by Ishvakush, and Kanchi was occupied by Pallavas. So, children, please go through the video where I have underlined. Please mark those lines in your book, because from September you will be having your first or second week of September, you will be having your summative exams. So children, most of the questions will be of MCQ type. So please go through the lesson very carefully and also see the video very carefully, because I have underlined the lines so that you can go through those lines very carefully, because questions can come from there. So in my next video, we will continue about the South India rule, where it was we will studying about the three rulers, Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Okay, so in my next class, I'll give you the video on the three kingdoms, powerful kingdoms of southern India, Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Cholas, Pandyas and Cheras. And we will go through their administration, what type of economic condition was there, what type of social condition was there. So children, please go through the video very carefully and see the underlined part and also mark it in your book. Thank you, children.